Oh, there you
Yo,
go. Oh, you guys are together. Oh, what a plot twist.
we're together, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, my guys, man. First thing first. Thank you very much. Wait, let me go full screen. Thank you guys very much for joining the stream today. Again, obviously, it's an important topic, and you guys, I'm guessing, I've got a lot to say about the topic. First thing first, for the people that are confused, like, not to sound rude, but who actually are you guys, innit? Like, who are you guys, and yeah, like, why have you guys like been so trending so recently? For the people that don't know.
Well, I'll start.
Thomas
My name is
underscore Sturko 6
Yesin,
just
also known as
subscribed.
YK Fit
So
on
on Billy.
TikTok. I make like content about stuff like this. I'm a law student, and yeah, I noticed this shit happening. I spoke out about it, and then I got like invited to a TV show, and radio stations like wanted to tell me stuff. Next to me, like this is Ali. I'm also like both like a translator and a like legal representation today. But yeah, so I'll introduce him as well. Ali is like he was just like a regular guy, a model, nice, living his life. Then when this stuff started kicking off, like some pro-Israelis, they took a picture of his, like doxed him, put him online. Like it has 20 million views now. They like called him the ringleader, said he threw Israelis in the canals and stuff.
Oh, really?
So yeah, that's why he blew up on Instagram and on TikTok and stuff. So that's why we're here, man.
Okay, so obviously, we saw what happened on the news. We saw the whole. I don't even know how to describe it in it, but we saw everything happen between the Arab fans and the Israeli fans, and obviously, I'm guessing you guys were in and amongst the mix. You guys were on the ground. You guys saw what happened firsthand. So allegedly, you know,
Everything's
hypothetically, let's just say if you guys were on the ground and saw what happened, yeah. Because when I'm watching a lot of the news articles, what people are saying in the news, they're making it seem like it's very one-sided. They're making it seem like the Israelis were the complete victims. They're making it seem like they were just minding their own business, and for some reason they just got attacked for no reason. I'm sure
Bro.
you guys got a different perspective on that. So can you shed light on like your side of things as well?
Bro, let me like first of all, that's completely untrue because this stuff happened like 20 days ago, like exactly 20 days ago, because on the 5th of November, 2 days before the football match, the fans were already here. Then the day after, the 6th, so the day before the match, they were like tearing down Palestinian flags in the city center. They attacked the cabbie. They like were like saying horrible stuff. So then like there was like a little altercations between people, but that's when like you saw like one guy like swimming in the canal because he was trying to get away from the people. But it didn't really kick off until the day after, because like the day after they came to the Dam again, like the big square in Amsterdam. They were like there chanting. They had police escorts. Police were there. And then when it was time for the game, they went to the city, the station to get the tube to the football stadium. And then they were like chanting stuff like, IDF finished them, fuck Palestine. There's no school anymore.
Gaza.
Yeah, there's no school anymore in Gaza because all the children are not there anymore, stuff like that. So they went to the match. First of all, like during the match, they disturbed the minute of peace that was for the victims in Spain, because there's floods in Spain.
Oh, really?
There was a minute of silence. Still, those fans disturbed that. Like they couldn't even be quiet for something like completely unrelated. Then afterwards, they went back to their hotels, but they didn't have the police escort then. And that's when the stuff kicked off. People were trying to find them and stuff, but it wasn't one-sided at all, because there's an actual journalist. It's like a little kid on YouTube. He showed that.
Yeah,
these people,
I saw that.
yeah, they were like getting poles out of the ground, like getting ready to like to start shit. So it wasn't one-sided at all.
Climbing buildings, throw down the
Yeah.
Palestinian flags.
Stuff like that.
So obviously you're saying the Israelis, they were like the perpetrators, they were the aggressors, but obviously we saw the response as well on how the other side matched their energy as well. So do you feel like the Israelis still would have been attacked, and that still would have happened to them if they didn't like come with that type of energy? You think if they were actually minding their own business and being peaceful, do you think they still would have got attacked as well?
Oh, hell no, bro. Like this is, and it should also be addressed in the media as just like football violence. You guys in UK, you have a big football culture. I know, like, so if like see like Manchester City, Manchester United derby is going on, like some altercations might happen just because these people are from Israel. doesn't mean that like it was a hate crime or was anti-Semitic or stuff like that. These guys came from a foreign country to Amsterdam, tore stuff down, like attacked people, cursed like the whole tense situation. They made it much worse, and then they expected us not to retaliate. Like that's like the dumbest stuff ever.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Go on. By the way, just that's his translator. By the way, innit? Just so you guys know, wondering, they're not gossiping about.
He's making a good point. That's why it's like if this was like a premeditated attack, then this stuff would have happened like before as well. People would have been waiting for them at the airport or when they were sent back. This was only after they started the altercation. They provoked this themselves, and then they got the reaction, and they're not happy about it.
Exactly, because the media, they're calling it terrorism, but I just call that standing on business. Innit? That's what we call it over here. We call it standing on business. If someone comes to your doorstep and causes trouble and you deal with it, then you stood on business. That's what it sounds like to me.
Exactly.
But go on.
Yeah, like if someone came to your yard and knocked on your door, entered your house, fucked everything up, and then you're defending yourself, and then they're calling the police saying, "Oh yeah, he's attacking me. Yeah, what the fuck do you expect, bro?
Exactly. But I wanted to ask Ali as well, because you mentioned that the Israeli fans like purposely targeted him. Is there a reason as to why? Obviously the fact he's a model, they probably just appreciate his face, no Diddy. But is there any other reasons as to why they purposely like just went for him and they made him the face of the whole movement? That obviously that you can speak on legally.
Yeah, bro. Literally, his only crime, the only reason they targeted him is because he's vocally pro-Palestine. He posted stuff on his story, but like things like a building with a Palestinian flag on it. He posted that, like that he stands in solidarity with Palestine, and that was the reason for them to get his face, put it like in front of millions of people. They tried to leak his phone number. They tried to leak his home address. All of these things have happened. Like he's being treated like he's like he did something, when he's really the victim here in this situation. Because they leaked everything, bro. They tried to come up for real.
So like from his perspective, like how has the backlash been? Like since they've literally made him the face of the anti-Semitism and they made him the face of that whole movement. How has it been like mentally, physically, emotionally? Like, how have you dealt with it?
Bro, he's telling me right now, like when this started kicking off, he's had like 40 to 50,000 messages.
Only on DM.
Only DM, only hate.
50,000. That's a whole football stadium.
Even my agent is texted.
Like they text everything. Like whatever they can find contacts of him, they let it like through his agent, his modeling agent.
Even the brands where I model for.
Like yeah, they even try to contact the brands he was modeling for. Like, do you know you're working with this type of person?
And what
like
kind
stuff
of things,
like.
and what kind of things are they saying to you in these messages?
Gewoon van, weet jullie dat jullie een terrorist
Yeah. Do you like they're like letting them know? Like, do you know that do you know you're working with a terrorist? Do you know you're working with a murderer, an anti-Semite? Like stuff like that. They're basically trying to make it out like he's like some horrible person. Like
would you say that you feel like you're at danger? Like you feel like your safety's been affected by this, like in your day-to-day life?
Yeah. It's like we bend but we don't break around here, bro. Like yeah, obviously it's a scary situation where like there's like hundreds of thousands of people that are like actively hating on you and like telling them the most horrible stuff, him and his family and stuff like that. But obviously, like yeah, we try to stay strong, resilient, and obviously we don't try to let the hate get to us too much.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so has that like online hate spilled into real life? Have you had any real life interactions? Yeah or no?
Ja. Laatst was ik op Palestina protest gisteren toevallig. Vroegen mensen op de foto. En
maar negatief ook? Heb je ook negatief?
Negatief, jawel, eenmalig. Toen ik die video aan het maken was op Instagram Reels die ik heb gepost.
Ja.
Toen gingen 4-5 Joodse mensen gingen wel schreeuwen van fuck you. Ze durfden niet naar me toe te komen. Toen ik omdraaide gingen ze weglopen.
He's saying it's been mostly positive, like as well, like when he's around, like he gets love. But like there was one moment where he made a video about this situation where he like explained exactly what happened, and there were like a few like these hooligans like shouting and yelling and telling him telling him to fuck off, but they weren't gonna do anything like up close and personal.
In the stad.
Yeah, in the city.
And obviously you mentioned that your model, you work with different brands, so has your brand work been affected since the whole uproar has happened?
Ze hebben gewoon hun reacties en zo uitgezet, man.
Ja?
Ja, man. En hun KVK-ding, bedrijf, werd bedreigd, zeg maar.
Oh,
van
shit.
gaan bommen daar plaatsen, zulke dingen, man.
Damn, they like even his modeling agency had to like delete all comments or like disable the function to leave comments.
The brands where I work for.
The brands which he works for as well. And the way it works in the Netherlands, like if you have a business, you need to be registered. But with that number, they can find like personal information.
Okay.
They had to get rid of that completely.
Oh wow.
So just to like not get hate or get any dangerous situations.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
wow. And obviously, like I said initially, this whole thing happened because of like the football fans. Like, it was like you said, it's a football internet. Start with the football. So were you guys actually at the game? If you can.
Bro, nah.
Oh, okay.
Like we don't. Why would we like? We don't support that shit. Like the fact that our mayor even let the game continue is a travesty in itself.
Oh,
The game
really?
should be canceled. Yeah, bro. Like if you look at like Russia and Ukraine, for example, when that stuff kicked off, like within a day, Russia was banned from everything. The Olympics, UEFA, they couldn't play nothing.
Right.
This is going on for like what, a year and a month now. Still nothing's going on. They already, these fans, the Maccabi fans, they already misbehaved in Greece. They messed someone up over there, and still they allowed him to come here. We had demonstrations planned weeks ahead. People said like, "Yo, we're not standing for this," and still they allowed the game to continue when they knew stuff like this could happen, and now they're crying about it.
Valencia gebeuren.
Ja.
Daar begon het al in het stadion dat ze niet respect hadden.
Yeah, bro, and like
Stilte.
exactly is pointing out correctly. Like it's not even a Palestine-Israeli thing. It seems like these people, and I don't want to be generalized too much, but these Maccabi fans, they just lack general respect. Because how are you like seeing that there's a minute silence for victims of a flood, like completely unrelated to any political agenda, and still have the decency to be quiet and to like leave it, to allow it? Still, that's crazy.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, so what I was gonna ask you was like, obviously we saw what happened in response to what they've done. We saw like what happened to some Israeli fans as well. We saw how some of them got treated in response to like what they've done as well. Do you feel like the response was justified? Like, do you feel like some of the Arabs took it too far?
Like obviously, like to promote violence would be a bad thing. Like we're not in favor of violence, but that's on both sides. So like what the media tends to do is they look at the reaction, but they don't see what caused it.
The trigger.
So obviously, yeah, the trigger point was them provoking the situation. The response, however hard and rough it was, I think it wasn't justified, but it was like reasonable. Like you can assume, like if someone comes to your city, fucks it up, like they can expect this type of retaliation. So yeah, we're not in support of violence at any kind, but still, this was
Als politie niet juist ingrijpt.
Exactly, like especially if like the cops even, they seem to be on their side because they're like giving them police escorts, making sure nobody gets close, making sure they can throw their slander, throw their speeches in the air. Like yeah,
als je dingen niet gaat voorkomen, dan moet je maar proberen te gaan.
Exactly. If you're not gonna prevent it, you're gonna have to deal with the consequences, man.
So like, well, was it actually as bad as the news are making up? Or is it being blown out of proportion? Like, what kind of things was actually happening on the day? Like, what things were happening?
Bro, like obviously, like it was bad on both sides. Like, so the media is not like they're like actually like not showing too much of what the Israeli fans did, but they actually like they went crazy. They, like I said, tore down Palestinian flags, attacked people, or, like they were like getting poles out of the ground, like basically just causing chaos in the city. Yeah, they're being vandals. But the response, yeah, it's not blown out of proportion. Nah, man, it was real. It was like an actual stuff was going on, man. Like, yeah, people were, chased, beaten, stuff like that, man. Thrown into the canal. Stuff like
Flipping hell, fam.
Yeah.
So, but is that like? I was gonna say, is there like a big Israeli presence in Amsterdam or no?
Oh yeah, there is definitely.
Oh, really?
There definitely is. Bro, we have there's like it's Amsterdam as a whole is like quite Jewish. We have a Holocaust museum here. There's a lot of Jewish people here. But that's the thing though.
Anne Frank is
like there's like the Anne Frank, maybe you know Anne Frank the house like as well. But the thing is, the beef was not and was never with Jewish people.
Of course.
It wasn't about that. It was about hooligans who happened to be from Israel, who also happened to use the tense situation Israel-Palestine to provoke people in Amsterdam. So you can't like There's already fire burning. You're throwing oil on it, and you're expecting nothing to happen. Like this is like that's what happened basically.
Yeah, it's mad. It's actually a mad thing when you think about it, because obviously, like you said, there's a big Jewish presence, but I'm guessing you guys coexist very like naturally, very peacefully.
Bro, literally, there's nothing happening here between Arabs, Muslims, and Jewish people. Like there might be incidents, but we don't stand for that. We don't stand for anti-Semitism. We don't stand for Jewish hate. But the same way we don't stand for that, we don't stand for people coming here, fucking the city up, and then expecting there to be no consequences.
Yeah.
And if they're from Israel and using the Palestinian problem as well in their provocation, then yeah, they can expect the result.
And how do you feel like that incident in Amsterdam like affected the overall tone surrounding the whole Israel-Palestine, like the whole Free Palestine movement? Do you think it's had more positives or negatives to the whole Free Palestine movement?
Bro, it's been detrimental, bro. The thing is, they are using this, and with I mean the media and also our politicians. They're using this to make it seem like there's an integration problem, like there's a Muslim problem, like there's like some like anti-Semitism in the Netherlands. They're like trying to shift the problem from what's actually happening, like the humanitarian crisis in the Middle East. They're trying to shift that and like say like, no, we have problems here in the Netherlands with the Moroccan, the Muslim, the foreign people that are living here. So yeah, it's been bad.
Yeah, I get that, but surely like you guys kind of could have saw that coming. Like surely you guys kind of knew, because you know how the media is already. We all know what side the mainstream media is on. So do you feel like there's ways that it could have been managed better, or managed in a way where we didn't really play into their hands?
Yeah, but the thing is, the people that played into their hands is the government themselves by allowing this match to happen.
Yeah, it's true.
When they knew the situation was so fucking tense. They knew there were demonstrations planned. They disallowed demonstrations, by the way. There was a demonstration planned at the Amsterdam Arena where the match was played. They disallowed it. They say no, you can like demonstrate like a kilometer, a mile away.
Yeah.
So they knew that this could happen. They did nothing to prevent it, and now they're using the result or like the consequences to fit their own agenda. That's basically what's happening right now.
Yeah, now sure. Obviously, when it comes to these protests, there's no doubt there's always like a very like kind of sheep mentality in terms of like there might have been a lot of people in the Israel camp that don't really even care too much about what's going on. They just joined in because everyone else was doing that. And same from the Free Palestine camp as well, and probably people that didn't really like know too much about what's going on. They just kind of joined in just for the sake of joining in. So in terms of you guys individually, like what does the Free Palestine movement actually mean to you guys? Like what does that actually mean to you?
Bro, the Free Palestine movement, luckily, what we see is that most people are quite clear on what it means. It means that we want a solution to what's happening in the Middle East. And that solution needs to come today, not tomorrow. It needs to come as quickly as possible. And it needs to come from a level higher than us, because we are like just civilians, basically. So the governments of the world, they need to like accurately represent us and our wishes to make sure that this problem gets solved. Because this is a humanitarian crisis like rarely seen before, and it's all in HD, it's all on our screens. Nobody can say like, oh, I didn't know what's going on. You know what's going on. Like it's been going on for a year now. Every day we see new things coming out of Gaza. So there's no way you can still claim that nothing's going on. And like one relevant political thing that happened, I'm sure you know about it as well, is the arrest warrant given out by the ICC. You know, and Golan, his Ministry of Defense. So that's a major good thing for us, for the Palestinians, because now it gives legitimacy to the cause. Now you can't, even if you were neutral before, if the largest judicial body that deals with these types of crimes says, yo, these people need to be taken into custody, then you know they're wrong. You can't deny it anymore.
Yeah, no, it's true, because regardless, it's like you said, the media is powerful. But I feel like right now in 2024, there's a limit. It's only so powerful because we have so many other tools, so many independent forms of media and forms of information. It's like it's now more than ever. It's easier to not be brainwashed. It's easier to really look at the truth for what it is. And I feel like right now that's what's really benefiting the Free Palestine movement, because of there's so many like platforms that are not influenced by the mainstream and by what's going on, that can speak. It might come with consequences, like obviously like Ali experiencing, like even me doing this might come with consequences, but nevertheless, at least there is still free speech and there is still platforms that can speak without the influence from the mainstream media. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
That's facts. But the thing is, the problem with that is that the same goes for like pro-Israel people.
Yeah, it's true.
The same problem. They have the same platform, and they have the same reach, sometimes even more, especially when they're backed by mainstream media. So that's we're fighting a battle here. That's like, but the power is not on our side, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, for sure. And so, what do you think? Like, obviously, I feel like when things like this happen, obviously Palestine is in the Middle East. It's a relevantly, I'd say, like relatively like a small region, I'd say, in comparison to other countries around the world. Yeah. So I feel like there's so much people around the world that they're seeing what's happening, and they might have some sort of understanding that, okay, free Palestine is a big deal, but they might not really understand to the full extent. And also, in addition to that, they might not really understand what they can do. They might feel like, okay, I'm just a kid in flipping Manchester, I'm a kid in New York, I'm a kid in Sydney, Australia. Like, what can I do to support them people all the way in Gaza? So what would you say to those people that feel like there's nothing that they can do?
There's like, first of all, like the intention starts in your heart. I believe that if your intention is pure and if you truly feel for the people in Gaza, you can act accordingly. Like, there's so much information on the internet to find, like from boycott lists, like places like McDonald's and Starbucks and stuff, to like places you can, like fundraisers that are going on. There's clothes you can buy that will, with the proceeds, will go to Palestine. There's like, even in Amsterdam, like there's a little kid who made these bracelets. Like, she's 11 years old. She made bracelets like this. Like,
I haven't had one as well, but I can't even find it.
Yeah, like there's so much stuff you can do, and even if you like, if you're young, if you don't have much financial funds, it's still important to spread awareness. So even if you have an Instagram account, make sure you share the proper things. Like this stream, like what you're doing, like it's crazy, like to see that there's a big UK streamer that's actually talking about this. So I would say support Billythegoat, so you support the Palestine movement as well.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it. But yeah, no, like I said, it's one of those topics where it's like, there's no amount of time that we could be speaking for 7 hours and we still wouldn't be able to really talk about everything to do with this topic, because it goes so much deeper. But like I said, there's so many people that might see the headlines on social media, but they don't really know what's going on. And obviously, even me myself, I do my own research in that. But like I said, there's still more things that I don't really know. So between you two, if you guys were to give like a little introduction to people that don't really know the depth of this topic, like how would you explain to them like the severity of this whole situation, the whole war in Gaza?
What I would say is, if you like look at history, and like, I know it might be a bit boring, but still, like after the Second World War, there were a lot of Jewish people that were displaced, were looking for a place to live, and with the help of the UK and America, they settled in Palestine. They were given lands there. After, like, they settled there, but then they started expanding. And while they were expanding, they were pushing out the Palestinian people. And if you look at the maps, you can see the Palestinian area getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and the Israeli area getting bigger and bigger and bigger. This is like at the root of the problem that we have today, because this situation, it can't last when you have the people that are rightfully in their place of where they're supposed to live, and are being pushed out by a foreign force.
Sorry to stop you just there. I wanted to one of the first things you said is that they were given lands in that region.
Yeah.
Can you clarify on like who it was that gave them lands? Like where did they?
Obviously, if you know like about Second World War, you know that Jewish people were in danger, so they were like all through Europe. They had to be they were like leaving,
exterminated, kind of.
Yeah, basically, yeah. But like even after, so they left their houses, they left their country, and they were looking for some other place to live. And yeah, obviously, if you look at it religiously through the Torah, they believe that Israel is their promised land. Yeah. So that's where they settled, which they were welcomed with open arms. There's still pictures you can find today where you can find like a boat with Jewish refugees saying like, I think something like, Germany destroyed our homes, please don't destroy our hope. Something like that. When they came there. So they settled, but then like, I don't know with what reason, I can speak on that, but like they started expanding and pushing the Palestinian people out. Now they have the West Bank, they have Gaza, and like very small places, maybe like small settlements in Jerusalem that they have, and the rest is all Israel. And now, unfortunately, it's not even only Palestine that they're targeting. There's stuff happening with Lebanon. There's stuff happening with Iran. Like, we're actually getting quite close, and not to scare anybody, but we're getting quite close to like possibly World War III because of this situation. So that's like a little introduction. And I know I skipped like 1,000
things. 100%.
Like,
there's a lot more. And even like you said, I feel like a key part that a lot of people, like, obviously everyone isn't religious and everyone don't believe in religious books. like you said, they believe that that's their promised land. They believe they have the right to that land, and I do feel like that plays one of the biggest parts in terms of this whole war. Is that entitlement and the feeling that like anyone that's on their land that's not one of them, almost they just don't respect them as humans.
Yeah, but that's this way of thinking is horrible, first of all, and it can't like be. There's no human way to solve it if you think like this. If you think that people that are on your land that were there before you don't deserve to exist, they need to be exterminated. Like that's not a sustainable way to create your own country. I don't know what they're thinking, but like luckily the world is slowly seeing what's happening and they're turning against Israel now, and that's a good thing.
Het is makkelijk om arme mannen en vrouwen en kinderen te gaan lastigvallen, maar als je hier in Amsterdam komt, dan ga je lopen zwemmen en Free Palestine lopen schreeuwen.
That's also a thing. He said, which is correct though. He's saying like what's happening in Palestine mostly is like there's trained soldiers like targeting women and children. But when they came here to Amsterdam, it was a different story, and you saw the result of that. So it's kind of funny to see that, because also I don't know if you know, but like a lot of these Maccabi fans are active IDF personnel.
Oh wow.
They're IDF soldiers, bro. Like they're yeah. He got DMs from these soldiers as well. They're more active on TikTok than on the battlefield, by the way. But that's for another thing. But like one of these guys, their passport was found, and you can see like he has Facebook posts with him in the IDF. That's the type of people that were coming to Amsterdam to play to support a little football game. Like, yeah, it's crazy, man.
So JSM on Twitch in my chat asked a question. He said, ask him, did the Palestinians ever object to Israeli getting land?
Look, bro, like I'm not a historian, but as I know it, no, they didn't, or they were like political forces at play, because I do know that the UK and America played a big role in the settlement of Israel, of the Israelites or the Jewish people there. So I don't know if they were in a position to refuse, but they definitely did not agree to being pushed out of their land. And the expansion of Israel has not been agreed upon. And I like I said, I study law, so there are treaties which say that what Israel is doing is against the law. There are in 1948 there were like lines drawn, like this is Palestine, this is Israel, and Israel has continuously pushed the line further and further, and that's what we call settlers, people that are settling, taking houses that belong to Palestinians against their will. And yeah, even like everyone agrees on that. At least they agree on that's illegal. That's why they call it illegal settlement.
I guess what I find the most interesting and even the scariest part about it to me is how we're actually witnessing history being rewritten in front of our very eyes. Like we're actually seeing the erasing, rewriting of history in front of our very eyes. Because even like when I listen to podcasts and like people on the news talk about it, it's like they put so much emphasis on, is it October the 7th? Was it October the 7th, 2023? On that specific day. And obviously, not even, like you said before, we don't condone violence. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, even though you support Free Palestine, don't mean you support everything that everyone that supports it does as well. But like so much emphasis is being put on October the 7th. And it's like, they're almost erasing everything that happened before that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they're using that to say like, Israel has the right to defend itself. That's like the phrase they use. But there's no defending anymore, because you defend yourself against someone that's trying to like attack you personally, attack your lands, attack your home. But that's not what's happening. These people are actively encroaching on Palestinian lands, and they're calling that defending. They're breaking international law. You're not allowed, even in wartime, you're not allowed to bomb hospitals, not allowed to bomb schools, not allowed to bomb refugee camps. All of these things are happening right now. So where's the excuse for that? Oh yeah, Israel has the right to defend itself. Sure, but you're not defending yourself when you're bombing children and women. That's crazy.
And I guess like obviously I do watch debates and conversations with people from both sides. And even though I've made it clear what side I'm on, there is arguments that's being thrown from the Israeli side. And some of them say, or like one common argument that I see they say is that even before October 7th, according to them, apparently Palestine wasn't occupied by Israel. Apparently they'd given it back to Palestine at that point. I've seen some Israeli people say that, and I've also seen people say that there was Palestine or Hamas, whoever was in control, was also given like a payout. and there was a lot of criticism in terms of how Hamas kind of managed those funds and what they spent the money on and the priorities, if that makes sense. And another thing, one of the most common things that they say is that Hamas almost used the civilians as like human shields, and they hide in hospitals and in schools and stuff like that. So, like, what do you have to say as a rebuttal to what they say?
This argument has been going on for a year. And I remember in the beginning when they like entered one of these hospitals that Hamas was using and their tents, they showed like, oh, look at this. Here they have the names of high targets or something. It was a calendar in Arabic. They said something about 42 babies being beheaded, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. All of that stuff has been disproven, even by Israeli fact checkers. So to say like civilians are being used as human shields, that does not negate the fact that you are actively committing a genocide. Because that would be like let's say a mouse enters your house, all right, and you're trying to find it and kill it, right? All right, you would be okay to do that because it's entering your house, but you would not be okay to then go and exterminate all the mice in the world. Like, and I know this is a bad example, like
I know you mean.
Palestinians to mice, but like it's just to make you understand, like this response. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. The same way, like let me say a better example. If you're sick, right, you take medicine that fights the sickness. Mm-hmm. You don't take medicine that fights your whole entire body in hopes of also destroying the sickness. Mm. That doesn't work. It doesn't work like that. You can't destroy women, children, invalids, old people just because you say there's a portion of the population, Hamas, that's using the rest as human shields.
And the truth is, with how advanced the Israeli, with how advanced they are and the amount of intelligence they have, if they really wanted to specifically target Hamas, they couldn't. That's the truth, innit?
Oh my God, they could. Yes, they could, bro. They don't even have to go in themselves. There's drones now. Like the new modern warfare is drones. Like unmanned drones. There's not a single Israeli person that has to go into Palestine. If you have a legitimate military target, you can take it out with drones, no problem. But what they're doing is like it's just annihilation, extermination of a whole populace, which is against, by the way, it's fully against international law. Yeah. You are not allowed to kill civilians under any circumstances.
Of course.
You're not even allowed, and this is like surprising for most people, you're not allowed to kill soldiers that have given up or soldiers that are wounded. If a soldier is wounded, you are supposed to give him the proper care and to take him into custody. But you can't kill people like just because they're on another side of a conflict.
Yeah, to be honest, there's plenty of people. I don't want to say specific like positions because I don't want to get it wrong. I don't know the facts, but I know there's plenty of people that are very, very well qualified, like people in the UN and like very high buildings that have declared this as a war crime. They've made it very clear this is a war crime, so there's no debate about that. But like you was mentioning about international law, obviously one of the biggest like countries and one of the most impactful countries when it comes to like anything globally really is obviously America, the United States of America, and they recently had an election. They elected the man himself, Donald Trump, and I don't know. I feel like there's mixed feelings about this because he has promised to end the war in Gaza. He has promised to do that, and I feel like when someone says them kind of things, it's easy to say, "Oh, he's lying. He's just saying that." But what I say to that is just vote for him and call his bluff. You know what I'm trying to say? So in my personal opinion, even like since he's coming and even previously, you can see that he is someone that when he says something, he does like do what he can to implement that. So how do you feel about the election of Donald Trump, and how do you feel like that can impact the whole situation in Gaza?
Yeah, obviously we're not from America, so we don't really. I don't really care about the effects on America itself. I do more care about the international effects. And the thing is, the second that this guy got elected, I think Putin from Russia and leaders from Hamas said, all right, we're like happy with this result and we're willing to come to the table with Donald Trump, with America, to see if we can solve this. And he said it. He said, like, once I'm elected, I'll finish this war in Ukraine, Russia within a day. We'll have to see. I think he gets like inaugurated on the 6th of January next year. So up until then, it's still Biden and Harris. But like, we'll see. But I think I have hope that hopefully he can come in and change the situation, because at heart, he's not even really a politician. He's a businessman. Exactly. he's a businessman, and I like that about him. So
yeah, no, I agree. Me personally, like obviously, I don't. When it came to Trump versus Kamala Harris, I'm not American. I'm not a politician either. I never really had a horse in that race. But at the same time, I do feel like when you look at things black and white, and you ignore what people say and like reputations. Like, obviously, Donald Trump don't have the best PR, but when you look at what both of them are being said, I do feel like part of me is leaning towards no. Okay, let's see if Trump can actually do what he's saying he's gonna do. Because if he does, then you get me.
Bro, a big thing in that as well is that the fact that Kamala Harris, first of all, like she was pushed in like at the last second because Biden was too old to obviously continue. But then Kamala Harris is the vice president right now. So her whole platform, she's saying like, I will change this, I will change that. And everyone was saying like, you're the vice president now, change it now. And she had no rebuttal. And then she hired Beyonce and LeBron James to do concerts and stuff as if that was gonna swing people's votes. People, even American people, they are like a little bit smarter than that, and they can see like there's an actual issue with immigration going on and in the world in general, and they need strong leadership. So hopefully Trump can be that leader.
And for sure, yeah. Even AY in my chat, he said, in the end of the day, we Muslims know Palestine will be free and win. So like I said, obviously there is a big, very, very big there's a very, very big religious undertone in this whole conflict. Like obviously you can talk about it regional and cultural and this and that, but like you said, it's a very, very big religious undertone as well. So I'm guessing you guys are both Muslim as well.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
Yeah, assalamu alaikum. I didn't even give you guys a salam. How rude of me. So yeah, so obviously I don't know if you want to talk about that side of things as well, like the whole religious, like the whole what the scriptures say about it as well.
Yeah, that's fine. Like obviously, yeah. The thing is that the Palestinians are Muslims, so by Islamic rule, they are our brothers, and that's I think where the sympathy comes from, why we feel so deeply for them, because they're our brothers being annihilated right in front of our eyes, and there's not much we can do, and there's not much like governments are doing. As opposed to that, I don't really think like if we really look at it, like the Jewish, the Torah, for example, that's not saying like that they don't have a religious backing for this. What's going on right now has Zionist backing, because Zionist people, they believe that land should be theirs and they should do whatever it takes to get that land. So it's not Muslims against Jewish people. And exactly, there are actual Orthodox Jewish people, and we mean like the ones with like the curls and the black dress, the Hasidic Jews. They are on the dam in Amsterdam protesting with the Palestinians. Like this happens quite often, because they say what's happening in Israel, we don't stand for that. We might be Jewish, but we're not Zionists. We do not back this. And if you want to go even deeper, before the 7th of October, there were massive demonstrations in Israel against Netanyahu, because Netanyahu was planning to reduce the power of the judicial power and like move that power to himself. So there were huge demonstrations before this happened. Yeah. So even the Jewish people don't fully back, or like the Israeli people don't fully back Netanyahu.
Yeah. But that is a good point that people forget. There is a big difference between like the Zionists and the Israelis and the Jews. Like there's a big difference. It's easy to blur all of them. It's like kind of like with Islam. Like remember, like once upon a time they were trying to say anyone that's a Muslim is a terrorist. Anyone that's a Muslim is a part of ISIS. Anyone that's a Muslim is a part of you know what I'm trying to say. So you always have to separate the extremists from the rest. You know what I'm trying to say. But even Selma in my chat, she made a good point. She said we need to learn about the history of Masjid al-Aqsa. And that's also something that's very, very important as well. That's something that people don't really talk about as well. It's only something you really know if you know about the whole religious part of it as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like Jerusalem, obviously, it's like the religious capital for the Abrahamic language religions. So Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. They have the wall. We have our mosque. Christians have, I think, like a mountain. Don't quote me on that. But like, yeah, it has extreme religious relevance for us all. So yeah, that's also a reason why, first of all, they wanted that's why they settled there. But again, I don't really think the Jewish people are to blame for this. They are, that it's Jewish people against Muslims, because I can tell you this right now, there's no way here in Amsterdam that there's a Jewish person that's getting persecuted just because they're Jewish.
Exactly.
Like it might happen like incidentally, but we don't claim them. We don't support that. And I think I can speak for Ali here as well, if we saw a Jewish person walking on the street, getting harassed, getting beaten, we would stick up for them because that's what's right.
Of course, because they're a human being. And like you said, it's not Judaism versus Islam. It's just right versus wrong. It's good versus evil.
Exactly. And people are trying to make it like, oh no, there's historic and there's religion and there's like so many contexts. Bro, at the end of the day, we're all human. We should all learn to coexist and live peacefully. And that should be our main thing. Yeah.
So, like, what do you think, like, I know it's like a very shallow question, but what do you think can and should be done moving forward, innit? Let's talk, it's all well and good talk about the history, the Holocaust, 1948, 7th of October. Let's try to think positively, optimistically. Moving forward, what do you think is best case scenario? Obviously, it's easy for you to say the war to end, but it's never that easy. Like, what steps need to be taken in order for us to get to where we need to be?
In my opinion, what should happen is that as many countries as possible should, like, first of all, acknowledge Palestine's existence, because that's still in debate. So they should acknowledge Palestine's existence. At the same time, we shouldn't deny the fact that Israel exists. It's here now. Like, there's nothing we can do about that, or like there's nothing we should do about that, because there are people living there. So what should be done is that the governments of the world, where they gather, either in the UN or wherever, they should come together and look for a peaceful resolution, whether that be a two-state solution or something else. There should be a ceasefire immediately. And I don't know if you've seen this, but last week they voted on this. They voted on an immediate ceasefire and looking for a two-state solution. There was some people, they abstained from voting, but most people were like, I'm saying like 99% of the countries were in favor. There was only one country against, and that was America. And they have the veto right. So because they said no, the whole thing doesn't go through.
Cancels everything out.
So that's the thing. Like, maybe like the country should talk to America, like, yo, Wagwan, what are you doing? Like, fix this. Like, make sure like we get peace.
I feel like with Israel, I wanted to ask a question because obviously, like you said, the best case scenario would obviously be a ceasefire according to a peaceful thing. But I feel like Israel's defense is kind of like, okay, even if we stopped everything, even if we stopped all occupation of Gaza, Palestine, we stopped everything, we just went back to normal, we can't guarantee that Hamas are just gonna drop the grudge, and we can't guarantee that they're not gonna keep attacking us because what we've done for them. And the Hamas they've come out and said that if the minute you guys leave us alone, we'll leave you alone. You know what I'm trying to say? But at the same time, the Israelis are like, obviously they're gonna say that.
Yeah.
So yeah, what do you think about it?
The thing is, yeah, obviously Hamas would say that, to say like, yeah, if you leave us alone, we'll leave you alone. But the thing is, Israel is not thinking about the long run, because how many more potential Hamas warriors did they create with their incursion into Palestinian land? Because if my parents and immediate family were brutally killed by Israel, I would come to hate Israel too, and I would want to revolt against them too. So it's not a real argument, because you can't control crime, you can't control that stuff. You can do your best to control your borders, but you can't say just the fear of possibly being attacked by Hamas terrorists later on allows us or gives us the justification to now go into Palestine. That doesn't work that way. Just because you might get robbed going outside doesn't mean every person that potentially poses a threat to you needs to be eradicated. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I guess I remember listening to, I'm sure you guys had this Joe Rogan podcast. I listened, there was a guy called Dave Smith on that, and he made actually a very good point. He made a point that kind of makes you look at things from both perspectives. And he kind of compared their stance right now to like the slavery days. You know, like when the whole like civil rights movement was going on and they were trying to free the slaves and there was a protest, this and that. You know, Thomas Jefferson, he had a famous quote where he said, when they were all protesting trying to free the slaves, Thomas Jefferson had a famous quote where he said, currently we have the wolf by the ear and we can't afford to hold on to it, but we also can't afford to let it go. And what he meant by that is like the way that these guys are protesting right now, if we keep these slaves the way we are right now, like, it's just not going to be safe. But we've done so much wrong to them and we've caused so much trauma to them that if you were to let them go, we don't even know what they're going to do to us. And like some could argue that Israel in a similar not to sympathize with them, but some could argue that Israel in a similar position right now, where it's like they might feel like even the way things are going right now, like obviously even if we wanted to let it go, like we might not even feel safety because of what they're gonna do to us in return. You get what I'm trying to say?
I get that, but the thing is, like you said, like there's no peaceful or humanitarian way to fix this situation. You can't keep eradicating a whole populace, a whole ethnicity, just because you're afraid of what will happen when you stop. It doesn't work that way. So I don't know. Like I don't have the answers in my head right now. Obviously, like this needs to be decided on a very large level. But who knows? Like there could be like extra forces. There could be people could be sent there to stabilize the area. There's so many things you could do instead of allowing Israel to do what it's doing right now, which is like we know it's a genocide at this point.
Yeah, no, for sure, man, for sure. But yeah, thank you guys for joining, though, man. I don't know if you guys have any final words you want to say, Ali. I don't know if you guys have any final words you want to say, just anything at all regarding the incident in Amsterdam, regarding things going forward. Any final words you have to say?
Yeah, bro. Like he said, like this is an important thing to keep in mind, that even though it seems sometimes like the situation is getting the best of us, like mentally, or the people in Palestine, it's important to remember that for us Muslims, alhamdulillah, this is not the end. So like he posted on his Instagram as well, you can't be the nation that knows that death isn't the end. So even if this situation continues, know that there's still an afterlife where inshallah we'll be rewarded for our good deeds. So strive for the best. Like when you're here, obviously try your best, whether that be in school, with work, and supporting obviously the good causes. But don't let this discourage you, the injustices in the world, to see that there's beauty in this life, and if not in this life, then in the next, inshallah.
Yeah, definitely. Because even what you said just sparked her. I like it. Because I just came back from Umrah recently, and I remember when I'd done a tour of the Prophet's museum, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they told a story about one companion of the Prophet, and he was a warrior. And he was like, when they described him as one of the most fearless warriors possible, like he literally, when everyone was sleeping, he would go to like the opposition's camp and just walk around and look at them. Like literally, he used to act like he couldn't he couldn't die. And when people would ask him like, bro, you're not scared of death, he used to say like, they're non-believers, so they can't kill me when they're already dead. He's basically trying to say the fact that they don't believe means they don't have life in the first place. So how can someone that's already dead kill me? So that's basically what he was just saying right there.
Yeah. It's a hard thing, man. Like the life we live right now, it's crazy. But I would, like I say, just persevere. Try to do your best every day, and inshallah, with great troubles comes great reward. Hopefully, inshallah.
Yeah, inshallah, my man. Allah make it easy for all the civilians that lost their life on both sides. To be honest, on both sides, all the civilians, all the innocent life that have been lost. And yeah, man. Thank you guys very much.
Yeah. Last thing I would like to say, like obviously you guys have the socials of Ali. If you have any questions or stuff, you can direct them to him. You can also reach me. My name is like YKFit on TikTok. If you have any questions, if you want anything like to know about the situation in Amsterdam, feel free to send me a message. And I wish you all the best, man. Same goes to you, man, Billy. Appreciate for letting us come on.
Nah, thanks so much, and I appreciate you guys for coming on as well, though, man. I know it's probably been very hectic, been very overwhelming past couple of days, past couple of weeks, but yeah, man, I wish you guys all the best for your journey, man. Just keep speaking your truth and just just keep standing on business.
We will, man. Thank you, man. We'll talk later,
man. God bless you. Assalamu alaikum.
Bye bye.